Welcome back to Range Anxiety TV. We've had a lot of popular feedback on our four-wheel drive stories, even though we're mainly an EV channel. We decided we're going to mix some diesel into it. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? First things, Justin, are my sunglasses straight on my hat? Like this? See? I always know. And okay, my nose is itchy. All right, all good. We're going again. This here is a late 2020 Toyota Hilux. Now, the Hilux has always been the unbreakable, staple, tradie ute diet, as we've said before, when we've done the older N70s on the dyno. However, they went through a bit of a rough patch from about 15 to 18, 19 with the first of the N80s. They had a lot of problems with DPFs, and it wasn't that the DPFs themselves were faulty, but, well, from what you would know from what Toyota said, it seemed like it was mainly the software, and they got recalled and fixed with a different DPF unit, but most importantly a very different tune to allow them to run without going into limp mode all of the time. I mean, it got that bad there was a class action, the thing's stuffing up and tradies relying on them for their livelihood, and they also went to the effort of putting a manual DPF burn button on the dash, which is just something you shouldn't need to do this century, you know. Software is there that can fix all of this, and even the Space Wizard wand could fix that. But in 2020, and they were a little bit underpowered too, 130 kilowatt really wasn't cutting it with some of the other stuff out there. In the real world, they struggled a little bit. Fast forward the late 2020, and this is the update model. Different turbocharger, different ECU, completely different programming. Lots of little mechanical tweaks that make them 150 kilowatt standard, so 20 kilowatts up and 50 newton meters up from 450 to 500 newton meters, which makes them a fair thing and puts them slap bang in the middle of, you know, D-Max, Colorado when it existed, Ranger territory for, you know, 4-cylinder outputs, or 5-cylinder in the case of the old PX3 Ranger. So today we're going to get stuck into this one and we're going to see what sort of gains you can expect from custom tuning one. This particular vehicle does a lot of country running, towing a little excavator, so it's towing heavy, and mainly we want torque and fuel economy. As you can see, like I've said before, it's on a bigger tyre package, so that's going to skew the readings a little bit. Bigger wheels and tyres always do that. But we're going to get stuck into it today and see if we can improve this even further to save the guy some money that operates it. He's a mate of ours, Lee, and also just make it more torquey and more fun to drive, because at the end of the day, with cars, and even if you've got a range anxiety or own some heap of junk like a Stellantis, it's all about the fun. So let's have a look at what Gareth can do when he works his magic minus the wand. All right, so the results are in, and they're good results, because the harder the lemon's been squeezed from the factory, the harder it is to get more juice out of it, if you know what I mean. So the higher powered, European diesels are like that, because some of the Volkswagen stuff and Audi stuff and BMW stuff and even Mercedes stuff is so optimised, the gains aren't as good as you get when you've just got some sort of rancid slugger that's underpowered and undertuned and stinks of diesel.
I think I'm getting the black lung, Bob.
Good news is that there's still plenty of scope left in the upgrade Hilux. Like our peak gains were something like 20 kilowatts at the wheels, at those big wheels, mind you, at 3,000 RPM, and our biggest torque gains, or if I get Gareth to come back here, we're making about 90 newton meters at 2,700 extra. And you know, that 90 comes down as the revs raise to about, you know, by 3,300, it's only about 25, 30 newton meters, or maybe 40 or whatever. But I mean, who drives one of these things at 3,500 RPM? I mean, it's out of steam, it's over by 36. So you operate between the bottom of the curve, or even before that, up to about 3 would be your operating window for the vehicle. And in that instance, we're making, nearly 20% extra without adding really any more fuel to it. So the extra efficiency that's gained from the use of the Space Wizard wand and less right foot to achieve the same cruising altitudes and speeds will result in a substantial fuel saving, I would imagine. Now, there are clowns out there that tune in car parks that tell you get 30% better economy. No, you don't, because if that was the case, I'd be driving a diesel rather than running around working out and scamming how to plug in my battery everywhere to keep it charged. That doesn't happen. In this instance, towing heavy and the type of roads it's going to be going on, I would expect if we could save 1.5 litres to 2 litres per 100 fully loaded, I would consider that to be a reasonable saving. Would I be right, Gareth? Yep, yeah. They're the sort of gains, maybe 10% fuel economy and 20% power and torque that you're looking at. Overall, this new Hilux is more than competitive with a new D-Max. Obviously not a Ranger V6, but they've got their own issues. It's more than competitive in the 4-cylinder and 5-cylinder market, and a good thing. So this should help cement, Toyota as one of the, legends back in the game. They are in P2 in the sales race at the moment against the Ranger. But that'll probably wear off a little bit when they find out that the Land Rover V6 isn't as durable as the, N80 donk. But yeah, look, something to consider, something to think about, and thank you once more for tuning in to Range Anxiety and Stellantis.